All right. Good evening, Miss
Good
Jennifer.
evening. Good evening, sir. Mazi Saporo.
Thank you very much. How are you doing?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir. How are you, sir? How is the family, sir?
I'm doing very, 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 very good. Very,
How is
very
the
good.
family, sir?
The family is doing well. The family is doing
How
well.
is the twins? How is our wife and
Everybody
the
is doing
twins?
fine. Everybody is doing fine. All right, so let's delve into what we have for today, right? So our
Yes, sir.
topic for today says delayed gratification.
Okay.
Delayed gratification.
Yay.
Delayed gratification. I believe this is the first time you're hearing the word delayed gratification.
I've heard it so many times. Heard people say it a lot of times.
Okay. So can I hear from you? What do you think, or to you, what is delayed
Uh-uh.
gratification to you?
Uh-uh. Brother, you have not defined it. Eh? Okay. Oh.
All right. So
Okay, in the context of what I hear people always say, delayed gratification is always more like keeping the enjoyment for tomorrow, right? More like going through the sufferings or going through the discipline or going through the whatever thing it is, right? Intentionally not doing things that maybe you feel like you're supposed to be doing, or things that are of not so much of impact like that, delaying them for later on, and then using now to using the now to do making the best of your time or something like that. You know how the Igbo people used to say it, anara chu ewu ojii na abani or something. So in the daytime, do what you're supposed to do in the daytime so that at the night time you can rest, something like that. That's actually the context I'm always hearing people say it.
fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. That's very, very excellent. That's a very excellent explanation by you. All right, so I'm
Thanks.
going to be splitting this into two. The first, these are two words that, that was combined to form our topic. So the first word there is delayed, while the other one is word gratification. So when you talk about delay, you're talking about, restricting, or you're talking about, how do I put it now? You're talking about tarrying or taking time for something to occur, right? The act of
Mm,
something taking time to come to pass, to occur, right? So that's delay, right? Now, when you talk about
mm.
gratification, right, you can see gratification can be an experience of satisfaction or pleasure. So that's gratification, right? It can be an
Okay.
experience of satisfaction or pleasure, right? That can as well be considered to be gratification. Now, if I will put these two words together in order to explain what our topic for today is, which is delayed gratification, so I can say delayed gratification is the ability to resist. You resist the temptation of an immediate reward in favor of a larger, um, we can say a larger or more enduring reward later. So that's what delayed gratification is. Now, it is the act of resisting vehemently for an immediate satisfaction or derivation of pleasure immediately for a unexpected or a proposed advantage that will come in the nearer future. So let me go through that
Okay.
definition again, right? So delayed
Mhm.
gratification refers to the ability, one's ability, an individual's ability to resist the temptation of an immediate reward, right? Now,
Mhm.
why is that individual resisting or preventing or intentionally trying to cultivate the habit of preventing an immediate gratification? Because, right, the reason why the individual is doing that is largely because of what? a projected advantage that will come from delaying his or herself from that immediate satisfaction that the person will do what derive. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about delayed gratification, there are some certain key concepts that comes to play when you talk about delayed gratification, right? There are key concepts that must be present for somebody to have the ability to what to to for somebody to cultivate that habit, to be able to have that habit of delayed gratification. There are some certain things that should come to place, right? So what do you think are the key concepts that must be present for an individual to cultivate the habit of delayed gratification?
Uh, okay, like things that have to be in place for someone to be able to cultivate this habit. Or okay, I think first of all you
Or
should have like
you can say what is delayed gratification tied to? Do you get it? What is it
okay.
tied to? What does it goes hand in hand with?
Okay, I hope I actually understand that question, but I just feel like before somebody is actually delaying anything, that means there is actually like a goal, or maybe there
Okay.
is a target, or maybe there is a vision. There is something ahead that the person is looking ahead towards to, right? There's something that the person is actually looking towards to. So that may be the only reason why this person might actually be okay. Yeah, for me to actually get to this point, for me to actually get to this um particular place, for me to actually get to this place, I have to do this and I have to do the other one. So I just feel most of the time it's actually maybe people's defined goal, right? Like assuming someone is an athlete now and you're getting ready for the Olympics and all of that, there are kind of foods that you cannot possibly be eating now and all of that. So they might obviously be delaying those things, right? They kind of all those eating all those food that they know that it's not going to make them feel all right. They kind of be, not be eating it for now because they have something they are looking towards to. So yeah, because
Okay.
I don't if there is nothing you're actually looking towards to, I mean, the whole delay gratification, I don't think it should really exactly like work out so well. I mean, you just be, not consistent with the whole thing.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Now, I'm going to point out like three important concepts or three important things that when present, it's very, very easy for you to achieve delayed gratification, right? So,
Yeah.
like I said, what does this delayed gratification goes hand in hand with? For you to see somebody that have been able to cultivate that habit of delaying a gratification, it means that that person have what we call self-control.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
For
Like the
you to
person is
decide that you
disciplined.
have a goal, for you to have a goal and decide that there are some certain things you should do now, right, in order to achieve your goal. Though you look pleasure, though you look though you can derive that instant pleasure at the expense of that, though you can derive an instant pleasure, but you've decided not to, access or acquire that instant pleasure because you have something you are looking at in the nearer future, right? So for you to be able to do that, right, there are some certain things that should be in place, like I said, which is what
Self-control. That's the
self-control,
discipline.
discipline, fantastic, self-control and what discipline. Now, self-control can allow you to do what achieve that. Now, what is self-control? What is self-control? Now, self-control is simply the ability to regulate, right? To regulate your desires, the ability to regulate your desires, the ability to have control of your desires, right? That's exactly
Mm.
what self-control is. So I'll go through that again. Self-control is your ability to regulate your desire, your ability to master how to curtail or have full control of your desires, right? That's basically what self-control is.
Mm.
So that's one of the concepts that makes it possible for people to cultivate the habit of delaying what? Gratification. Now, another thing too, right? Another thing too that works hand in hand with delayed gratification is what we call the concept or the thought of the immediate versus the delayed reward. Now, when you constantly ponder on the immediate and the future reward, right? These are things that people that these are things that people that have a goal they usually do in order to make sure that they keep in check, or in order to make sure that they keep on renewing their desires for them to delay whatever gratification that they want or that may be pressing at the immediate time. Just like the example that you gave, right? For an athlete now that wants to go for an Olympic, right? For an athlete that wants to go for an Olympic, he or she knows that for the person in quote to be able to go to embark on that Olympic and eventually win, there are some certain things he or she should be doing few months to the Olympics, right? The person should decide on the person should be very, very selective in regards to what the person eats, right? The person should be very, very selective in regards to what the person eats and some other things. So now, when the person pictures what he or she stands to gain by denying himself or herself from some of all these things, it will keep the person renewed, right? While looking at
Mm.
the what future benefits. Now, you have what we call emotional regulation. Now, most of the times, right, for you to be able to keep, for you to be able to effectively maintain, or for you to effectively have the ability to successfully, right, delay gratification, right, you must have what we call emotional what regulation. You should be able to, regulate your emotions because now when you have a goal that you want to achieve, most of the times you may have emotions. Emotions may come to play at some points, right? During the process of you delaying or during the process of you training yourself in order for you to eventually get that, there may be some point at which emotion may come to play. So your ability to control your emotions, the ability for you to regulate your emotions, these are things that should be in place. And when they're in place, then it's very, very possible for you to cultivate that habit or successfully delay gratification in order to achieve whatever thing you've set your heart to achieve in the near future.
Mm.
So that's it for that. Do you have any question? Do you have any contribution before we move forward?
Uh, no, for now.
Okay. Now, if I may ask you, why do you think delayed gratification is important?
Oh, okay. Okay, so one of the things I think that makes delayed gratification important
Anyhow,
is
anyhow, it is correct.
it's like we're calling it DG. One of the things that make DG important. All right, so you know, I think human beings are actually like we actually created in such a way that we are for us to actually do things that we're supposed to do, or I don't know how to put it. I mean, we're always looking forward to progress or looking forward to advancement or maybe a reward or something, whatever thing it is. And most of the time we need the right kind of motivation to actually be able to, achieve whatever thing is it that you want to achieve. So one of the importance of the delayed gratification is that it obviously make it to be able to, advance, right? To be able to make it to achieve the goal or whatever.
It will
Somebody is
make you what?
shouting. Somebody is shouting in your environment.
Sorry about that.
So I said it will make your achieving your goal or whatever thing it is that you want to achieve possible, right? Because when you're actually doing the right thing that you're supposed to do at whatever point, right? Be able to make the advancement or the progress you're actually looking forward to. That's what I think.
All right. Very, very what? Correct. Very, very correct. You know, there is a saying, I was going through the internet one certain time, so I saw one post. It said the reason why you're struggling is because you you've not done what you are meant to do, like you refusing to do what you are meant to do. You've either
Hmm.
deliberately, you've either intentionally or not intentionally not done what you are meant to do. And now part of the reason is why people may not do what they ought to do is because a whole lot of people seek for instant reward. They seek for instant pleasure. Now, instant
Hmm.
pleasure is something that is easy to get, but it comes at the expense of a future reward. Now, you get to see people, right? They just want to have whatever thing they have, ponder it. They just just want to, be out there. They just want to follow, they want to be seen and stuff like that. Like, okay, let me bring it down to the process of learning a skill set, right? You see a whole lot of people, they're still in the process of learning a skill set, right? And what is just important to them is just for them to, you know, just display one of few things. Immediately they've seen maybe one, how do I put it now? Maybe they just they embarked on one let me see, one project like that, right? And they got so fascinated about the project that they're out there displaying it. Right now, the displaying of the project is not the issue. Now, the issue is that they've really achieved this, right? And they're out there displaying it. But now they won't want to go further, right? They won't want to go further to learn more. To them, they just want to push it out there that they are into this, right? But when you take in depthly, they've not learned that into the point where they can
Masha.
master. They've not learned it to the point of mastery. They just want to, just be there. So people say, ah,
Oh.
wow, 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 wow. Now, by so doing, they get distracted and forget that they need to really spend time in this to learn this, right? Now, where's the place of delayed gratification there? The place of delayed gratification is now, if I'm that person learning this skill set and I'm learning some of these small, small things, right? I can decide not to showcase these things that I've done, that I should learn more. I should keep grinding on my skill, keep improving on my skill. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I should probably tarry a bit, keep improving, keep learning, right? To the point where I'm extremely good. Then I will display one project that when I display, people will be like, where is this guy coming from? So that could be the advantage of what delayed what gratification. All right, so I'm gonna break down this advantage into different um categories, right? So I'll break it down into, I'll break it down into finance, and I'll break it down into education, and I'll probably break it down into health. Now, let me come from the point of health first. Now that this is the usually see, right? That when you get old, right, you start reaping the reward of your eating habits while you're young, right? Now,
Hmm.
you know, it's some you see people that have an idea of all these things, right? What they do is that because they want to live long or because they want to enjoy their old age, they start now to prevent or to control the kind of food that they eat. Now, ordinarily, their body may want to eat junk. Ordinarily, everybody wants to eat junk or eat anyhow food that is very, very sweet and the rest. But these sort of persons have decided not to, or will decide not to embark on all these things. Why? Because they have something that they are looking out for, and that is that they want to enjoy their old age. So because they want to enjoy their old age, they will delay the act of that immediate gratification or that immediate pleasure that they get from eating whatever thing they want to eat just because they want to enjoy their old age. So that's one advantage when it comes to the health what aspect.
Hmm.
Do you have any contribution?
No, I'm listening.
All right. So now that is the point of what? Um, education, right? So let's
Health.
talk about the point of finance. Now, most at times people do not cultivate the habit of saving, right?
Oh.
People do not cultivate the habit of saving. If you read this book, they call um Nothing Can Grow Rich. Not what's the name of this? The Richest Man in Babylon. So the richest man in
Hmm.
Babylon says that you should always save a certain percentage of your money, right? At least 10%. I hope I'm correct with that statistic, that number of every of your income, right? That you should save this amount, then reinvest this amount. So you see some people that immediately any little money comes into their hand or something, they want to really squander it, right? Some people they will just, some people when they have money, they know because you see them in almost every patch. Like even here, where things are happening. Where things are happening, you see them, right? Now, this sort of persons, right? They've they've decided to trade the future reward for the instant pleasure. Because to them, some people will tell you, um, that how do you usually say make this statement? Say,
You only live once.
yeah, you only live once,
No way.
exactly. You only live once, just enjoy yourself and stuff like that. You only live once. That's how they usually, there's one funny statement like that they usually say. I cannot come and kill myself, I cannot come and kill myself. Now so Musa
That might
take now so Musa take chopping whole salary for one night. So, you know, when you don't really have um when you really not decided, when you engage in stuff like this, right? When you engage in stuff like this,
I've not
then
been hearing you.
you said,
I've not been hearing you.
oh, sorry. So I was talking about the finance part of it, right? We are still talking
Yeah.
about the benefit of delayed gratification, right?
Hmm.
So I'm saying now I'm discussing about the financial part of it, right? There are some people that
Okay.
when so I was saying that there are some people that when the little couple enters their hand, you know. How will you know? Because
Hmm.
you find them in every nook and cranny. Any place that
Yeah.
things are happening, you find them there. And as you are seeing them there, they are spending. The only time, in fact, anytime you come around those areas and you not see them, know that the money has finished. So this sort of persons, like, this sort of person, they are trading future reward for instant reward. You
Hmm.
get this, right? So now, but if you see people that really have this knowledge of, they are really looking at projecting for a future reward, people that have, or the people that have cultivated these habits of delayed gratification in their finance, you see them allocating. One of the characteristics, one of the things that they do most often is that they allocate money. They say, okay, this particular amount of money will go for this area. This particular amount of money will go for this. This particular amount of money will go for this. Now, at the end of the day, you'll find that these people will be able to, carefully allocate this money and deny themselves of certain things at the moment. At the moment. And as a result of denying themselves from certain things at the moment, they can be able to build over time financial freedom as a result of applying some stringent principles, right? Thereby denying themselves that immediate gratification. Now, this sort of person is not like they don't know where to go and squander their money like the other person, like the first person. Or it's not
Hmm.
like they don't really enjoy the pleasure of, going to or finding themselves in those areas where they will have to spend. But because they have a future reward, they have something that they are looking up to, right? So this sort of person would deny themselves all these things. And at the near future, you see them enjoying themselves because they've been able to delay the present just for what they want to do what get in the near future. So that's the financial part of it. So it's mainly one other part, which is what I mentioned three parts,
Education.
right? Let me know that you are listening.
Education.
Fantabulous education. So help us with education.
Ha. Okay. Oh. Well, it has actually been a trend that school is scam and all of that. But
Okay.
we know that education is actually like beyond going to school. But then going to school is actually where it usually starts, right? I mean, starting from where you are small, you just from the time you get consciousness as a human being, you're already in school. You never even make that decision yourself. Right. So some people feel education takes a lot of your years. Like I mean, the greater percentage of your age you've actually spent it in from nursery school to where you are now. It's mostly just as if it's you're just been learning and learning. So people don't, education actually takes a lot of time. So most of the time people don't want to come that kind of like they don't feel like they can, give that kind of amount of time to education, to learning or whatever kind of education it is. So they just want it quick, quick, right? They just want the whole fast money, get money quick scheme and all of that. Education is scam. But then you find out that some of these people, right, they can actually let go of education and go and be doing this kind of things they are doing. At the end of the day, they will still get some of them actually get duped, right?
Mhm.
I know one of my friends that time she tell me how the father got duped because he doesn't know how to speak. He does not know how to communicate. And one of these friends was doing interpretation for him and now carried all his money from the white guy ran away. So
Like
you see stuff
apostle.
like this. But this is actually, I mean, people that don't have that kind of privilege, like it's actually understandable. But people that actually have that kind of privilege, but then they still feel like no, they cannot. To I'll go and spend 5 years in university or 6 years in university. I mean, that 5 years, the reason I'm doing this one, this, that, But at the end of the day, find out that 5 years later, they've not done anything still. Right? 5 years later, people are graduating and they are just there. I mean, time will always go, right? Whether you're doing what you're supposed to do or not, time will
Exactly.
keep moving. Yeah, so education is not exactly like scam, right? And there's so many kinds of education, it mustn't be like school. You can pick a skill or whatever thing it is, just give it time. But most of the time, it's just that time that people always feeling like it's too much to sacrifice. But I don't think it's actually too much. Yeah, so that's what I have to say about it.
Fantastic. 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 There's one certain time that when I was still seven, so there's one program like that I went by Banvic Petroleum, one of the petroleum, Dr. Mayo Wafe. So he was saying something at
Do
the
you know
time that he
what?
wanted. He said
Do you know what?
Banvic Petroleum. So I
Okay.
went from your young professionals program like that. So he was saying that he was going to Harvard School of Business. So he was calling the amount of money he was going to spend in Harvard School of Business, and I was like, wow. So he was now saying that, it may look kind of that people will be wondering, like, why is he spending this amount of money just to go for Harvard School of Business? He said, but that one thing that people will not understand, or you may not understand, is that any amount you invest in knowledge, you always pay off big time. That the
Mm,
ROI, the return upon investment, is countless. And that is
mm,
very, very true. That is very, very true. Because it is conspicuous if you see the way he does his own thing, you see the how he has been able to move his firm and all these things, you find that there is a touch of you find that this person actually that some education has actually done something here. So now when it comes to education, just like you said, people say school now scam, school now scam, school now scam. Now when you come closer to those people, you find out the reason why you then find out the reason why even even like how do I put it now? Even their character themselves will tell you that this sort of person they are lacking education. right?
Mm.
Now, people most of the times, because a whole lot of people don't want to go through that pain or spending those XYZ amount of years in school in order to acquire knowledge. They just want to go out there and start doing things. They don't want to delay the act of manifesting. They don't want to go through the process of learning. They don't want to go through the process of that 4 or 5, 6, 7 years of going through that path of learning in order to have a brighter future, in order to shaping their future. They don't want to do that. They just want to go out there and start making money, right? So the advantage of delayed gratification in terms of academics or education is that when you discipline yourself or when you intentionally decide to go through those XYZ amount of years to the university and do all this, and at the end of the day, when you out, right, you'll be able to navigate yourself. It may not necessarily give you um money, but it will equally give you money. But it changes the way you think. And when something changes the way you think, it will always amount to what? It will always amount to finance, right? But it will help
Mm.
you in the way you discuss. It will help you for even being do a whole lot of things. Now you then find out that if you have skipped this process of going through those 4 walls of the school in order to acquire this knowledge, when you find yourself in situations or positions that demand you making use of your head, you just go back there and do what? Lock. Then it is not then that it will not be down on you that if I knew, I would have gone through the process of learning of through this school system. I would have carefully gone through the process. And before you know it, time has passed, right? And then
Mm.
you've lost it, and you may not the person may not have that patience again. Because I mean, something that you were not able to do when you are little. Is it now when you've grown up that you now want to do it? It takes extra concerted with effort for you to be able to do that. So at the end of the day, you've lost it. So the advantage of that in education is that it helps you, right? It helps you to have a better future. It helps you to be able to, when you find yourself in positions where making meaningful contributions is demanded of you, you can be able to do that because I mean you learn it and you pay the price. And what is the price? You pay the price of going through the 4 walls of school. You have to learn these words, skills, to learn communication skills, to learn whatever type of skill that is demanded of you at that one particular time, period in your time. So that's the advantage in that particular aspects.
Yeah. So, in addition to the education, just like we said initially, education is not just about going to school. I mean, if you still see yourself going to still learn a skill or learning a business, because normal Igbo businessmen have the thing where they send people to go and do business and then they feel like 7 years or some people are still finding it difficult to do that kind of thing, right? I mean, there's no money to send it to school, but then there's an opportunity for you to go and learn trade or something. See that some people will not, instead of them to calm down for that long years and learn trade or something, they prefer to go and
Yes.
do start here for 1 month or 3 months and now see yeah, they have learned the business and then go and start and then fall back to zero. So I think training is actually very important. I think people just really understand that in addition to every other thing, it will help you to to learn from other people's mistakes and other people's error.
Exactly.
Yeah, you should
Exactly.
obviously learn from. You don't have to, how they used to say you don't have to learn from your. I mean, learning from experience must not be your own experience, right? So it
Exactly.
mustn't be your own. You can actually learn from other people's experience, other people's mistakes. And so from there, you can actually, because there are some things, businessmen will obviously tell you some horrible mistake they obviously made that if it's not, they wouldn't have made it, right?
Mhm.
And with telling you all of that, you obviously get an edge. And then you also build relationship, all right? I mean, most people that actually do well in life actually, I mean, for you to actually do well in life, human beings are going to patronize whatever thing you're doing. Human beings are going to reward you, right? So you can still build relationship from whatever place it is they are doing anything they are doing. So it's actually like very important. I mean, education can never be overemphasized. It helps your networking, it helps your experience. You buy from other people's experience, especially people that already went ahead of you.
ahead of you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for pointing that out. But most of the times when you tell people to actually like this Igbo apprenticeship system, some people you tell them to go and learn trade, they'll say no. By the time you give them millions of naira, within 1 month, they close down the shop.
Yeah, that's the thing. But it's actually what people
Because
don't actually understand is it's not easy anywhere, right? It's not
mm,
even going to school is still not easy. Going for the trading thing is not easy. You just have to make up your mind, right? Understand, like, I mean, give yourself time, give or take. I mean, all these things we just and learn how to, enjoy that period. Another
exactly,
thing is
learn
the
how to
whole
make
delayed
fun out of it.
gratification. Yeah, people also delay their happiness. I don't think that one is not part of delayed gratification. All right, when people are always delaying their happiness, waiting to be happy when they finally arrived. I mean, most of the time there is no arrival anywhere. The arrival is actually when you have died. So people keep delaying their happiness. I mean, in that place you are, right? I mean, you are not the only one. I mean, you're not the only boy. I mean, your organ might actually be the most wicked of all the organs, but then there is, as long as he's a human being, right, there is still what he's doing right that makes him better than some other person. All right. So, and if you feel is making you not to thrive, you can always change. I mean, they always bring people back. People always come back and say that, oh, my guy is very wicked. Then they find someone that is not as wicked as or something. But then people actually, and that is actually when people actually build relationship, get business partners, right? I mean, all those boy, they usually have a way of, and before you know it, all of them kind of grow up together, and so you just finding happiness where you are, and then doing your thing
Exactly,
and moving on.
exactly.
And you can one nice thing about the whole boy thing is that all those oga, they are very nice people, right? Like to the point that another person's boy can come to your shop and still be learning your thing. They are not like so uptight, like it's only my boy person that will be in my store and all of that. Or else you're a thief. Oh. But as long as they find out that you are actually not a thief and you are, just a hustler in all of that, they will just allow you to still come and be peeping and learning what they're also doing. So you see that you have, I mean, so many people with experiences that you just have to buy from and do
Absolutely
your thing.
plethora of experience. Fantastic. Absolutely was correct. Absolutely was correct. So now, what do you think? Maybe okay. Before we talk about that, right? Let us talk about the strategies to cultivate delayed gratification.
Huh?
What do you think could be the strategies to cultivate delayed gratification?
You're nah. I don't know what you're asking me this night, too. But then, I don't really understand the whole concept of saying strategies. Actually, I don't really understand the whole thing
Okay,
that
now,
you actually mean by that.
what's now? Okay, let's take for instance now. I want to cultivate the habit of um, delayed gratification, right? I want to have that
Hmm.
ability for me to really delay gratification for an XYZ reward. So what do you think are the kind of strategies that I can cultivate or that I can put in place that will make me, you know, that can that can, make me have this strength.
It sounds as if we've touched it
Yes, we've touched this
somehow.
more. Yes, we've touched it somehow.
Yeah, so it sounds as if I've touched it somehow, but then it's just like I said initially. I mean, you just have to understand, like, um, this is temporal, right? Right? You just have to have that mindset, like that this is just temporal. I
Exactly.
mean, this is not where it ends. This is just a start. I mean, this is just you're just scraping the surface. You just have to go through this to actually get to where you're going to. So, I mean, in fact, every aspect of life is all about taking a journey, right? People don't usually have issues with with other things, going from here to here, doing this to get it. But when anytime it comes to something like this, right? Where you have to deny yourself something at the present for your future, people always find it very difficult. I mean, it's always like shortcuts. Then they just want it quick and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to understand that you're not rushing to anywhere. That's number one thing. I mean, you're not. It's not like you don't have to be doing something, but then there's no point trying to speed the whole thing up, right? So you just have to understand that this is just for the greater future. So give yourself time and find happiness in doing that. Don't wait for happiness to don't wait to be happy when you get to whatever place you're going, because there's no when you get to that place you're going, you still find out that there's still so many goings ahead of you.
Exactly.
So just take it one step at a time.
Fantabulous. Fantastic. Fantastic. So, goal settings, you set a goal, mindful practice, positive reinforcement, always, reaffirm to yourself, this is where, these are my goals, these are things I want to achieve. I must definitely achieve this. I must, these are thought positive reinforcement. Keep on reinforcing yourself or rewarding yourself for small successes. These are ways that you can, develop or cultivate these little gratifications. You surround yourself with supportive people too as well. When you have people around you, when they are chasing goals, right, and you find yourself in between them, it makes it possible for you to equally cultivate that habit. Right? If you are in the
Hmm,
midst of, say, iron sharpness iron, you can't be close to fire and not get burnt. Right? Or not get,
hmm,
if you don't get burnt, you should get warm. So when you
hmm,
surround yourself with people like this, then you will. Then when you constantly visualize the long-term benefits, sometimes I'll just stay like and I'll visualize it. When I visualize, I'll just smile and then continue. When you constantly visualize the long-term benefit of whatever thing, right? Then these are
hmm,
ways that you can cultivate. They can strengthen or re-energize you for you to be able to, you know, cultivate that habit. When you constantly picture the long-term benefits, it's part of the ways that you can cultivate that habit of self-gratification. Um, delayed gratification.
hmm.
So what do you think can make people not to, cultivate that habit?
Impatience actually, Um, impatient. Like people are not always like patient these days. Like everybody just in the haste. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, all these things, right? They are not easy. Just for you to know the bigger picture, right? If you have understanding of the bigger picture they are looking at, you, that's obviously the reason that is going to fuel the whole thing for you. So people are like very, very impatient, like very impatient. So I think that's one of that. And then, like you said, if you're not picturing the whole where you are going to, if you don't have an understanding of where you're actually going to, right, you don't see the need for it to, be doing the whole delay gratification. There won't be need for it. But if you have an understanding of where you're going to, if you always picture where you are going, right, if you have an idea of what exactly you want to do, I mean, and then it's obviously going to help you. And then also when you're not keeping the right association, obviously that's not obviously not going to work. Being in the midst of people that don't even think about tomorrow, they are all about living in the today and now. Let's eat everything today. Tomorrow, obviously find way for itself and all of that. Right. So when you're actually in the midst of that kind of a people, you find out that it will be almost like impossible for you to um do what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
Fantastic. Nice one. Nice one. Nice one. Nice one. So, um, part of the things too that can make people not to cultivate this is, just like you said, so many people are impatient, and some people are just too quick to manifest. They just want to show themselves. Maybe you've gotten X, Y, Z, and instead of for you to calm down, you just want to show, you want to tell people that you've arrived, you know, premature success or something. You just want to show people. That's one of the, these are one of the, um, these are one of the enemies to delayed gratification. Impatience, like you said, impatience, the willingness to show off, to belong. When you want to belong, things are happening, you want to belong, you want to, tell people that yes, I've arrived or stuff. So this could be the enemies of things that can, work against it. All right, so before we close, I want you to tell me, just give me one situation or scenario where you've exhibited delayed gratification, or when you've not. Now, in either case, tell me what the advantage was, what the end product was, or what the other way around is. Okay, now this is what I mean, right? If you've exhibited this gratification, what was the end product? What was the reward at the end of the day? But if there are some certain, if there are, if if you felt at some point that I would have delayed this gratification for this, but I didn't. Now, what was the backdrop or what was the disadvantage of not doing that? So depending on whichever one that you've selected. So let's go.
Okay. I think one time when I was in school, I think the semester that actually like made the highest grade. When I found out that my GPA is actually looking weird, and I think that was 400 level first semester. So I was like, see this first level, I was like that level where that was not having anything less than 4 point something. So at that point in time, I mean, I like watching movies, so but then at that point in time, I mean, I had to keep the movie to one place first off. Like I read like mad. Right. I did, I actually read like very well and going out and all of that. I'm actually not a going out person, but then most of the time there'll still be an option to go out or just to sit around and gist or do nothing. More that period of time I really actually put in the effort. And then I actually have my reward. Like actually I go I was looking for anyway. I was able to make the 4 point something I was actually looking out for. So that was an example. And when I have not, I think when I have not should be, I can't exactly remember, but I would just say like when they say it's best to when they say it's best not to eat your dinner at daytime
Mhm.
because agua banimeko sadi.
Hmm.
I think I've had that kind of experience where more I was just eating the food was just entering. So like I was not full, but I just want to eat. And then at the end of the day, I couldn't resist what I should have eaten in the night. And the kind of I know one thing about eating too much in the daytime. It's always make you to feel so hungry, like it's as if you want to die. So I somewhere that day because the food was sweetening me. I could not actually I did not think about in the night. Like I did not think about later. I was like later I should just find solution to it. And that was how hunger wanted to kill me that night. So yeah, that's just my example.
I'm part for Jesus. Clap hands for Jesus.
Bam, 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 bam. So over to
Hey,
you.
wonderful.
Yeah,
And
okay, yeah. Hey, I did not say this delayed one. That time, I
which
think around
one?
this time last year, I was learning data analytics that I don't used to sleep. Ah, God, that one is delayed gratification. Me normally I go to bed like I did not sleep early. By 11, I'm not awake for any reason. My going to bed is usually around 10 p.m.
Enough
because
time,
I
enough
like
man.
waking up. Yeah, I usually go to bed around 10 p.m. I don't stay awake till 12 a.m. Like I'll be awake till the next day. I don't fancy that thing. I like sleeping, going to bed today because the night is supposed to be for today, not for tomorrow. So, but then at that point in time, God, I really had to, I was literally not sleeping, right? And I was just go back. I might stay awake till 2 a.m. 7, and then go to bed, still wake up by 6 or maybe by 7 to do prayers, and then continue. God, that period of time was something. Yeah, thanks. And that actually gave me like that foundation really helped me, right? And it's still helping me right now because it gave me an in-depth understanding of what this whole data analytics and all these things are. So whatever tool I actually find out now that I want to make use of, I've already had the back, like the understanding of what am I supposed to expect, right? So even if I've never used that tool before, I already know the kind of things I should be looking out for when I'm, going to learn about that particular thing. Thanks.
Wonderful, wonderful. Behold your data analyst. So, anybody that will come across this video, wherever place you are, just get to know that the person involved here is data analyst. So if you have any
Papa,
job, you can always, if
data
you
scientist
have
in
any,
making.
if I have data scientists in the making, if you have any job, you can always reach out. All right. So that's great. That's wonderful. That's really, really wonderful. So I'm gonna point out mine, right? Um,
Mm.
it's still this part of learning journey. I think during the lockdown, now I was just learning like a fool. When I mean I was learning like a fool, like an idiot. I was
Cannot
learning
learn
like
like
an
a
idiot.
fool. A fool does not learn. An idiot does not
Like
learn either.
I was learning anything, like anything that crosses my front, like anything that I just lay my hands on. I'll start turning it. Like I'll start, I was taking a whole lot of information, like my life depended on it. So the during that lockdown was more of a learning period, and majority of things I've been able to achieve now, I can always point it back to lockdown. It has been extremely instrumental to my professional career today. So that's one of the advantage of, and that was one of the scenario where I would say I use the data because during lockdown, the whole of persons were at home just enjoying themselves, right? It was movie, but I know people around there, it was more of movies and, we'll just be watching
BB
movies.
Niger.
But
That
everybody,
was how. That was when BB Niger was raining. It was trending now. It's not that time. Everybody was just at home. It's just
okay.
movie. This one and the other one.
So you can imagine. So a whole lot of persons were just, watching movie and, it was excusable,
Call,
right? For you to watch
call
movie.
our name.
What's,
Call
what,
our
what are you
name.
doing? It was excusable. So a whole lot of persons, yeah, but the opposite was the case for me. And now I can say so far, so good. That has been one of the best decisions. Right. So that's, that aspect. Then the other aspects where I was supposed to delay gratification, I think it was, one certain time, I don't know how many years that is during this period, during this festive period. Now I don't know how all of a sudden I was just in one group like that. Somebody just pasted the WhatsApp link. My person placed the WhatsApp link. It was apparently a pyramid scheme. So in the WhatsApp. So I was just there monitoring the WhatsApp group, just looking at the WhatsApp group. As I was looking at the WhatsApp group, I was just seeing people sharing money. They say, send money to this person, send money. Immediately you send money to this person, they appear it to this person that will send money to you. So apparently the whole thing was just really organized. Like it was an organized fraud. So
Mm.
ordinarily I should have at least taken much time to study. and find out what exactly is happening there. If you're not even studying it, right, I should at least know that things like this don't work, right?
Hmm.
There is no free lunch. Even in free time,
Yeah.
there's a law that says there is no free lunch. There is no free lunch. So at that particular point in time, I, you know, and I was just seeing things that were happening there. I went and deposited 30K. That was how my 30K.
Hi, Jesus. So you would have been 30 by now.
I would have been 30K richer now. I know what that means. You know, that time 30K was, 30K was really
A
something, not
lot.
even that.
It was a lot. Oh,
Like,
guy, Jesus, I will
that was
cry for
how,
days.
that was how my 30K when I'm me. Now to
I
think
think
that
I've
that
done
30K,
something like
I've been
that.
saving that 30K for like how many months? So that
Hi.
was what during festive period, festive gym enjoy. I was able to enjoy myself. Just went and give it to people.
Your eyes
In
will
in
turn red.
disguise, in disguise, forget it says if you deposit 30K, you get 60K in return.
You're in your widest dream.
As my widest dream. So, that was one of the situations. And I mean, it was really weird, but it was a learning, it was a learning, it was a learning avenue for me at the end of the day. So that's my own experience.
Okay.
All right, so
Interesting.
conclusion. So conclusively, to conclude, delayed gratification is very, very crucial, critical to I mean, it's a very, very critical life skill that can lead to success in various areas, right? It's very, very critical and very, very important skill set that everybody should get because it can lead to success in everything, mostly virtually everything or every areas of life, including your personal finance, education, health, relationship, whatever areas that you find yourself in, right? These are things that can really help you. Now, it's not just about resisting temptation, but it's equally about focusing on long-term, rewards, strength, and developing mental strength. Now most of the times, right, you should always, sometimes, right, there are some people, the one sentence, Apostle Joshua Selman just say one certain time, I say that there are some people that you can't cast, that you just need to pray for God to give you the grace to pass through them and go your way.
Mm,
Right? So, when you
mm,
understand some people, I was speaking with one of my friends one certain time like that, and he was telling me, I'm just be shouting, 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 that you don't bend down to people, you don't bend down to people. I called the guy, calm down. No. If you shout like this, shout like this, shout like this, you still mellow. And then the guy is mellowing now because he was meant to send letter to the first sent letter to 8 years. And up until now, 8 years haven't 8 years haven't responded to the letter. So, so at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you find out that who is more, who is wiser now. Who's wiser at
mm.
the end of the day. It's very, very funny, right? But it is what it is. So most of the time, you just need to. So it's called delayed gratification in that area. So you can just, be patient, right? Just go through that phase so that, I mean, if Ceteris was to remain Paribus now, he would have gotten what he wanted and moved on. So, these are things that, you should learn, know when to talk, you can know when to, there are some certain times when the temptation to talk or the temptation to fire back may be so high, but you can just decide to, um, you get it, decide not to
Mm.
make a statement. So that's, conclusively in delayed gratification. All right, so what are the key points that we're able to derive from today? So the key takeaway was that delayed gratification is essentially, right, is essential for long-term success and well-being. So delayed gratification is very, very essential for long-term success, right? And it equally involves intentionally resisting short-term to reward or temptation to favor your short-term gratification for a greater future reward. So that's equally another key takeaway. We still talk about the act of cultivating self discipline, mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and the rest. Now, these are practices that can help to master the act of delaying gratification, right? And we still talk
Mm.
about the reward system. Like, you can always reward yourself while you're delaying the gratification. Always reward yourself gradually in order to keep yourself energized. And you still talk about mindfulness and constantly reassuring yourself, constantly having or painting a mental picture of where you will see yourself in XYZ number of years, while you keep waiting for you to eventually get there, right? I mean, just like you said, you mustn't seize your happiness while you are waiting for the time of manifestation. So you can equally be happy while you are waiting or while you are delaying the gratification. So these are part of the key take away. So do you have any contribution before we end?
Okay, so I think delayed gratification, we shouldn't see it as it's suffering or some kind of punishment, right? You more like you see it as you're being launched, you're more like you're being launched drawn back to be launched forward, just like when you want to somebody wants to all this catapult and stone kind of a thing. If you want to
Mhm.
like launch the catapult, the stone far away, right? You have to like draw it back and then
Go
fling
back.
it. So yeah, so you have to see it as a training, like it's something you are doing for your own future, right? It's something that you're doing for the bigger picture. It's not like it's a suffering kind of, suffer ahead, they are suffering because most people see it, they tell you, more you do suffer, oh, cannot do this, cannot do the other one, can you bring that money and do this now, blah 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 blah. So many things, right? So you shouldn't see that suffer ahead because people will obviously make it look like you're not living your life, you're not, doing what you're supposed to do. Do you even know what life is all about and all of that? So that is so you understand because you're the only one that understand where you're going to, right? So no matter how much you explain to people, people can never see the bigger picture that you're seeing. You're the only one that is seeing it. So you shouldn't allow what people are saying to start messing up with your mind, right? So focus on where you're going. And then you've already seen people that actually walk the path, right? People that walk the walk and we are seeing the evidence in their life. So so just keep at it. Now, I think generally from everything we talked about this, now I actually find out that this delayed gratification looks like it kind of have like two kind of phases, right?
Mhm.
There are things you're supposed to do, and then there are things that you're not supposed to do. More like if you're not, it's not something like you're delaying gratification, like, oh yeah, because you want to go and be like I use the athletes to do example, right? You have an Olympic coming up, so you should not be eating a lot of fatty food and all of that. Yeah, okay, that's you're not doing, right? You're not doing all of that, but then you're supposed to be training. So imagine you're not eating all those fatty food and all of that. That's the only thing that you're doing. That's the only whatever thing you're doing, and then you're not training, you're not doing all the required exercises and all of that. So that one that I delayed, I mean that's one you're not doing, is just a total waste of time. Like you're just literally starving yourself, you're not even doing the right thing. All right, so you have to know the things that are not to do things, and then at the same time you should know the things that actually do things. Now, and even in that not doing things, that in that aspect also, I think that things that you're not supposed to do at all. While maybe there are some things that you just do in minimal, right? There are things that you don't have to do at all. You just separate yourself entirely from them, right? Why there are things that you might still do them, right? Because you're human, right? You can just do a little bit of them. Just understand that in the doing, you're not supposed to invest all your time. More like your mind, you don't minor the majority or major the minority. You have to know the
Measure
things
the
that actually
minority.
like the most important things, right? So you have to know how to organize yourself. So the things that you're not supposed to do, whether is it like I'm not supposed to do them at all, or okay, maybe I can, because most people, when they say that they're doing delayed gratification, they don't actually go out anymore to socialize with people, right? They're just inside their house and they're saying they are delaying gratification and all of that. No, zero social life. All right. You have to understand that people, it's still people that are still going to reward you. These people, God is still going to reward you through people. So you still need the relationship, you still need to network. So no, so in that aspect, you might not have to be doing it too much, but then you still have to be doing something. All right. Then you still know the things that you're not even supposed to be doing at all. And then things that you're supposed to be doing, because you have to create the balance, right? If
Mhm.
you say you're in school, you're supposed to be reading your book, but you're not reading your book, but then at the same time you're not going to parties and all of that. You say you're not going to parties because you have exam tomorrow, and the exam you have tomorrow you don't even read for it. There is no difference. You and the person that go to party, both of you still have F. So there is no point. So know the things that you're supposed to do and the things that you're not supposed to do. You don't just stick on the do not, because it's very easy for people to say, yeah, I don't do this, I don't do that. But then what about the things you're supposed to do? You want to lose weight, right? And you stop eating, you say you're no longer eating this, you're no longer eating that, and all. But what about the other things you're supposed to do? Right? Are you exercising? Are you taking a walk? Are you still living a sedentary life? So in as much as you're not eating, maybe you say you're not doing portion control, but then you're still living a very sedentary life and all of that. I mean, it might not be super helpful. So you should create the balance. All the things you're supposed to do and the things you're not supposed to do, and the things they are supposed to be doing a minimal. So that's my own conclusion. Thank you.
Wonderful. That's a very wonderful conclusion. Wonderful conclusion. Wonderful conclusion. Let me just chip in this one point. In fact, let me end with this quote that says, "You cannot mingle with fire and don't get burns. Even if you don't get burnt, you should get what? One." So in the act of delaying gratification, seeking for a goal, looking for the bigger picture, you should always surround yourself with people of like mind, people that equally will get as delaying gratification in their own individual ways in order to achieve or acquire the goal. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Miss Jennifer, for showing up.
It's me.
Thank you very much for your wonderful contributions. I mean, they were very, very insightful, they were very, very helpful, they are very, very educative, they are very, very contributing. They are whatever thing that you can, you know,
My contribution is
yeah,
contributing.
yes, it's contributing. It's contributing what is contributing. So thank you very much for showing up. Let's do this again. Same time, same session. Till we meet again. Keep being amazing, keep being wonderful, keep being productive, keep being helpful, keep being amazing, keep being, you know, keep giving out every goodness in you. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Keep being amazing too. I appreciate your time. Thank you for the topic and your contributions. Thank you,
Thank
Hannibal.
you.
Have a wonderful night rest.
You too.